Hey. Welcome everybody to Really Charlie Podcast. We're here coming live through StreamYard, Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. Today's guests are the Steele Brothers. We got some of them here, and some of them may not show up, only due to some medical reasons, but we all here. We got Fruity Lopes disappear. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
So,
I'm doing good.
our guest right now is Sonny Silva, Michael Kahn, Donald Tavares, and Dwayne Lopes. The infamous, I can't say infamous, unless you guys were at Monty's Park, the infamous. The Steele Brothers.
What's up?
So, how you doing, man?
Good. I'm good. We battling some snow and some cold, and people dying. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know how to deal with no snow and no ice.
It's nuts.
It's nuts. I was making snowballs. I hit a tree a couple of times. The chicken wings.
Well, the whole country's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Freezing in Texas.
We're about ready to have another ice storm today, so we still got like 1.9 million people without power, man.
That's crazy.
Wow. You thought you were getting away from all of this going down south.
I was getting used to it. Actually for 3 weeks. I was up there sliding around in the ice today.
So those folks are blaming you for bringing that back with you.
Yeah, I know, huh?
You might as well come back, man. You might as well just come back.
Well, they gave me practice right now.
Hey, Charlie. I wanna thank you for that last week broadcast, man. It brought back so many memories. Not only that, got a lot of nice messages from family and friends. They really enjoyed it, but I don't know. I think my brain ticks a little different nowadays because throughout the last week of that broadcast, I remember different things back in Bay Village, Monty's, and everything else, and all the stuff started hitching. I'm even watching a movie. Remember Cooley High, right? So that state theater back in the day, and I watched Cooley High that I haven't seen in years. I just busted out laughing because the scene in the movie theater, all the kids all around and carrying on. I just started laughing because I could see all those guys and the whole village in this theater, and I just kind of laughed at it. But I appreciate that broadcast. Was cool, brought back some memory, and a lot of people told me to sing for them. So thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, exactly. That was nice. That was real nice. I got messages as well from people. I was like, Donald never gave Charlie a chance to talk, Mr. Chad.
Michael Grant.
But that was really good. Really good, Charlie. Really good. Appreciate it.
I can't tell the story, man. I can't. You guys got to tell the story, so I'm gonna let you go. Let you go for what you know, and But Sonny and Mike, I'm glad to have y'all here today. It's a so-called basketball version of the Steele Brothers, and I hope Eric is able to get online so we can hear his stories too. But Sonny, why don't you share a story with us about the Steele Brothers that is fun in your
party? We could party with the best of them. Racing the clock. We would go into facilities like the Alhambras or Hollywood's Wharf, and just party, man. And the thing with us is we just went and had a good time. We weren't a group of guys that going out and drinking and fighting. We just went out and had a good time and just enjoyed what life had to offer. But then you talked about basketball. If we were at the park, one of the things that bothers me when you hear about Monty's is they think of it as a gang, but Monty's for us was a place where we were home, place where you could go and play ball. If you didn't want to play ball, you were on the wall or you were, watching it, and it was just a safe haven for us. We'd play ball, go home, shower up, meet back up at the park, play some more ball, go home, shower up, and then hang out. And but it was just being right there at the village. When you hear about it takes a village to build a character, that's what Monty's and the park did. Monty's in the village did for us. The elders. I saw your uncle a couple of days ago. The Bobby Graces and the Paul Gomeses, and those guys. We grew up watching those guys at this place that's supposed to be so bad for us. But again, it's where we grew up, and we learned a lot from the elders, and we were hoping to pass some of that on to the next group of guys. That's why we get involved with teaching some basketball there as well. But with this group of guys, we were.
I always tell everybody that being brought up where I was for any other neighborhood in the world, I just love it. I cherish it, and I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for you guys. We didn't have a silver spoon in our mouth, but it was good living to me. So.
But we didn't know. We didn't have a silver spoon because everybody's spoon looked the same. And then everybody's house had the same. If you were at Dwayne's house, his mother put the same food out that my mother put out. If you were at Mike's house, Rosie did the same. Donald's, and we didn't know we were poor because we all had the same. We didn't know it until we got out of our environment and then saw, what people thought was rich was only financial stuff. But the true richness came right from our community.
Yeah. Now, Michael Kahn, the Kahn man, how you doing, man? First, I want to say thank you.
Man. I'm good.
Con man.
Thank you for being here, man.
Hey,
because we go ahead.
Yeah, Callie, I want to thank you for inviting the Steel Brothers. I've been on the show before, so I'm kind of letting the Steel Brothers, have their say. But again, I want to thank you for inviting the Steel Brothers and all that you do. You've done so much so far in the community, and you're going to continue to do that. And your show is seen all over the country, and you're doing great things. And I'm glad, that I could be of any assistance to you. Now, getting back to the Steel Brothers, just thinking about it, I think about the fact that we've been friends for so long. It's like over 50 years. And you think about it, everybody is alive and doing well. We lost only one Steel Brother. That was Jeff DeBarros. God bless his soul. And, everybody's doing good. Everybody is healthy. And I'm so proud and to be a Steel Brother because after all these years, we're still close. And, the words that Steel Brothers mean, the letters that it means, that it embodies, is real true testimony to how we are as friends. You know what I mean? And something that'll never go away. And I could talk all day, but you already know I got a big mouth. So, I'm gonna try to keep it simple. But yeah, I truly love it.
As long as you don't try to sing.
So we just no. You mentioned about Jeff not being here, and
Yes.
he was a good dude, just
Yes.
like the rest of you, and I really, really appreciate a lot of stuff that he did for me growing up. And it may just be a dude coming on the basketball court, an older dude, and just shooting hoops with me, like most of the elders did. You guys were good to a lot of us and kept us in line. We don't have, Eric's not here and Michael's not here. So I want to kind of reflect on Eric, the dude is doing some great things. I see pictures on Google and looking in the background, and I see a True Bounce backboard. The thing is going all over the country. Internationally, I don't know if it's there. Canada, I don't know if it's around, but
It's
I'm
getting there,
seeing.
Charlie.
Oh yeah, and so that's another Steel brother is doing some great things, and I appreciate it. I appreciate what he's doing. I'm so proud to say that he's a New Bedford dude. He's a Bay Village kid. He's definitely someone that was around you guys and amongst us. But I'm proud of him. And Michael Grant, another dude. You guys are not on a scale on different levels with me. You're just on a straight line and good mentors to me. So why don't we, let me see, let's all try to share a story about Eric Brittle if we can.
I can.
We'll start off with
Yeah, I can share a real quick one. You said international, Charlie.
All right.
Speaking to Eric a while ago, and I believe he was talking with Marcus Holtman, because now Marcus Holtman, didn't he play Cape Verdean basketball, guys?
Yes, he did. That's
yeah.
He got, he got
Yeah.
his skills from me, Dwayne, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Eric had just mentioned that he was on the phone with Marcus, and they were going to try to hook up something in Cape Verde Island. So he's trying to venture out there and head that. So that's a real good thing. Eric's doing a real good job with True Bounce.
Yeah, Marcus has embedded himself in the Cape Verde community, going back and forth, and I'm sure him and Eric will do well out there.
Yeah.
I was out on a business trip in Vegas and riding through, and I saw Eric's backboards out in the Vegas area, and that was something great to see, because here I am, across the country, and my boy's product is hanging out in Vegas, man. That was something.
Right.
I
was wondering if he ended up. 1 second, Donald. But I hope he gets one of his backboards and puts it up somewhere, and maybe some of the NBA players could sign that board, that glass board for him. So, that would be something that would be priceless later on. But go ahead, Donald.
Yeah, I just want to say, we're all proud of Eric, along with his great backboards. He's a great man, as we know, good heart, always had a good heart. And as Eric developed that backboard, I had the pleasure of working with him and doing some helping him out some, driving the backboards to New York and Connecticut and Rhode Island. So I did some work with Eric with the backboards. And one of the things Eric always brings up to me, and it's the truth, is that when he first started making the backboards, of course, it was a new business. So he was very nervous about it. And he's like, T-Del, man, what do you think, man? Is this going to make it, man? Is this going to make it? And I was like, Eric, it's a great backboard. It works. It looks nice. I said, matter of fact, remember them damn shovel backboards everywhere? If we went somewhere out of town and they had shovel backboards, we would get disappointed. We hated them shovel backboards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We saw them shovel backboards. So I said, Eric, if whoever invented them shovel backboards could make it, these backboards are definitely going to make it.
Exactly.
So true.
Here it is, years down the road, and he always continues to tell me that story. Fidel, you said it, man. Them shovel backboards we're taking them down. And it's like funny because we went to New York, we put about 15 backboards up at one park. And I'll tell you, we were taking down all shovel backboards, and me and Eric just laughing and said, "Yep, they're coming down. They're coming down." And so it's a good you know, to see that it's you know, he's fulfilling his dreams, so to speak. I even was watching something on Netflix, and these detectives were in this yard, park, and I looked in the background and the kid's shooting around and it's True Bounce backboards. I'm like, look at this. Backboards on this movie on Netflix. You know?
What's the superhero, the black superhero?
Yeah, he's doing some anti-bullying stuff.
Exactly.
Lucas Cage.
Lucas Cage.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep.
There it is. It was an episode of Lucas Cage. Yeah.
Saw it on there too. Well, yeah, we're all proud of Eric. Eric's he's Eric, and he's blessed, and we're proud of him. Sorry he ain't on his broadcast. He was supposed to be here, so
I know.
He better have a good excuse. He's going on double secret probation.
You know, my recollection and what I think about Eric is from where it began, and you know, all the trials and tribulations he had to go through to have them backboards. First of all, have them developed, and then have a patent made, and you know, going back way back when he kept always talking about how it was going to be all over the country, and you know, listen to him spread his dream. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be honest. At first, I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I really don't know. But I mean, I still supported him. And I still believed in them, but that was a big overtaking, you know, to do something like that. You know what I mean? Going against, you know,
your shot was too hot off the glass. That's why.
That's probably why. But you know, the thing is too, is the fact that, you know, like when Eric was, you know, going and doing his backboards, Don used to work with him, and I had the pleasure of going with Eric to New York City. And we went into a place which is now the Rucker Park of New York City. And we walked in there and see the backboards put up and how they presented it. You know, they filmed it up and they presented it. And the people in New York City loved the backboards and the way they accepted. Great competition, the backboards were great. We had a great time. And there's a teammate of his named Michael Chapman. And Michael Chapman right now basically runs the New York side of True Bounce backboards in New York City. And what they did most recently they had one backboard go up each day for 30 days. So they put up 30 backboards in 30 different parks each day for 30 days in a row. You know what I mean? Right now, Eric, he's trying to go through the NCAA, but he's going through problems with that, getting that, you know, sanctioned. But he's making, you know, so much effort. And he has a good team around him, and hopefully it gets placed in a lot more venues, because he's in damn near every park in the city of New Bedford for sure, and in New York right now, and you know, he's trying to get worldwide, and hopefully he gets that.
We got one
That's
backboard here in a church in Tomball, Texas. They bought it off the internet, so we in. We got one.
Yeah. Hey, that's if he hits Texas like he hit New Bedford, he'd be rich man.
Yeah. That's what the conversation was. Let's try to get to Texas.
Put it this way, Charlie, if he was to get a contract with NCAA just in college alone, oh my God, man. That would be crazy. And he's actually working on it. He's still working on that one.
What you guys probably don't know is that he. Go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
No, I just said if he starts replacing them backboards just alone, that's will be incredible.
Yeah, he ended up meeting with the NBA. He had a meeting with the NBA, and I think he had to go to 2 or 3 meetings with the NBA, and of course he got turned down. But yeah, exactly. So he had, I mean,
Kiki Vanderway, yeah, he did.
Yes,
I think
Kiki
he was up
Vanderway,
there
exactly. So
in
True Bounce is
Iowa.
not going anywhere. And also the fact that he's doing is he got his fashion line out too. We didn't talk about that. You know, he got his True Bounce gear, the sweatshirts, the shirts. He's got, you know, the basketballs, True Bounce basketballs. So he's delving into another arena besides True Bounce basketball. So he's making his brand more
accessible,
applicable to everything else. You know what I mean? So it's a great thing that he's doing.
and
I mean,
he's
it's all,
doing the anti.
Designing the draws.
Design draws for Con.
Bounce underwear. I heard your design.
Yeah.
I might be. I might very well be.
You model it? You model it?
As long as you don't take none of your tighty whities out, man.
Yeah,
But you know,
Also, I believe Eric is also working on a 3-man basketball, right?
yeah, he's
Yes.
done that. He's done that in the city of New Bedford, where they blocked off the streets and they've had tournaments. But in addition to doing all that, he's also running an anti-bullying campaign,
Right.
for the kids. You know, so he's not just staying stuck with the hoops. He's expanding. He's trying to reach everybody.
Yeah, that's a great camp.
Let's bully him a little bit. Let's talk about his basketball game. You know, was he picked first or was he picked last? What's Eric's game? If all y'all on the court, 3-on-3 maybe.
that has happened. That has happened. We had 3-on-3 down Monty Park, and it was like a WWF, WWA wrestling. I'm telling you right now. We played, we fought, we wrestled, punches were thrown, elbows were thrown. Oh yeah, rock 'em, sock 'em, hell yeah. We went to basketball players, we went to football players. Oh, we went at it. It was crazy.
We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
We
We
were playing, and there was a couple of them older guys that quit. They were like, you can't play with y'all.
we saw every Sunday and play 3-on-3, the Steel Brothers. And, you know, some of the kids that were watching used to like shake their heads because, man, we'd be like going crazy, hitting each other, elbows, everything. Like Michael was saying, like, you know, like it's a little battle, fight. But you know what? After the game was over, we're sitting on the wall, we got our cooler and we're drinking a couple of beers like nothing happened. And we were I'll tell you, going at it verbally and physically. It was pretty cool. And that brings me back to talking about playing rough. It brings me back to when we were growing up little, when Kenny Fran, Roger Montero, Edmund Gomes, Stevie Gomes, the whole game, Blaine Ferguson, all them guys, when we used to play with them, we were, of course, a little lower than them, 5-6 years younger, 7. Buddy Rocher,
Buddy Rocher.
them guys, your uncle David Grace and Bobby Grace. I mean, them guys used to throw us around, man. Throw us around. Jeffrey Martin. They used to pound us. But you know what? It was good because they were doing it for a reason. So as we got a little older and we got to teenagers, well, I wasn't taking it no more, so I started giving it back. I remember me and Jeffrey Martin almost getting into it. And then one time, Jeffrey pulled me off to the side as him. You know what? I'm glad you like the way you are, man, because when you was younger, man, that's why I've been messing with you when you was younger. Just wanted to toughen you up. And all them guys did, Roger, them guys were tough on us, man. Matter of fact, as we got older and we went like teenagers, we would go to different parks to play ball. And man, guys used to get upset. They'd be like, yo, man, what you guys playing, man? You're hacking the heck out of us.
Play through it.
Shut up. We didn't play no volleyball. Play ball, you know? Just the same thing the older guys did to us. And then we went ahead and did it to the guys younger than us. So we developed a pattern of just playing some rough basketball. And it was all in fun, though, you know? And that was some of the things I was thinking about last week after that broadcast. About some of the older guys and then even some of the younger guys and how we just meshed all together and had some kind of relationship with sports.
And Charlie, Donald and I kind of terrorized basketball players at New Bedford High School after football season. Todd DeReese, Collie Martin, Mark Dias, all of them. Donald Pena. I remember I used to beat them guys up. They would be so mad at me, and then I'd come and say, "Hey, I love you guys." I said, "Hey, we only making it rough for you now because, you know, some of these other guys, they're gonna see, you know, they're going to be rougher on y'all." So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, so me and Con went the other way. We ended up going to Stang and we played ball at Stang, but Mike can tell you this much: when we caught these guys in the summer league, we put a whooping on them, and we came back to the summer league. We played with some of the other fellas from the community that didn't go to that went to the high school but didn't play, but didn't go to Stang. We played with the Roy Fergusons, the Michael Robinsons, Derek Morris was with us.
Yeah.
A bunch of talented guys, but they
no.
played effort.
Yeah, I remember.
Now with Nuno Barros.
Nuno was.
I wanted to ask about Nuno Barros and Sonny.
Nuno Barros.
Nuno was
he much younger than
Who's that? Who is Nuno? I don't. Do I know Nuno?
Nuno played basketball for fun.
Don't you?
And for football, incredible. He if he played behind Donald at New Bedford High, he would have been the best by far in the area. He was the top running back, but his name would still be going on because Donald was a pulling line, not a fullback. Donald was the whole freaking line pulling, and Nuno was fast and he was also quick. Once he hit a hole, he was gone. I remember sophomore year, Stang had 275 total yards, and Nuno had 242.
Yeah, I remember.
He was a sophomore.
Yeah, Nuno was something else.
He was incredible.
And Sonny and Michael Kahn probably remember this. Coming out of Roosevelt, like them guys were already at Stang. So I went to go visit Stang because I was actually going to go to Stang. And Sonny, Michael, Nuno, they, of course, you know, I'm from the hood and they take me in and I'm going to different classes with them. So I'm like, you know, yeah, this is different. I didn't care for the uniforms and all that, but that didn't matter. So I was in one classroom and this girl looked at me and straight out said, "Hey, you look like you're African." What? She said, "You look like you're African." So I told Nuno, "I'm not coming in. I ain't coming to this school. I'm not coming to this school. I'll get in a fight or something." Girl called me African, and you know, after New Bedford High heard that I was visiting Stang, that's when they kind of took it upon themselves to make sure I went to New Bedford High. But yeah, I mean that's a good story. Sonny was saying, well, I wouldn't say good story because it never happened. But yeah, it would have been fun to play with Nuno because Nuno was great. Like Sonny said, he was fast, he was quick, he was tough. He had all the tools for a great running back.
I can say one thing about Nuno if I could. I don't know if Sonny was at this game. I remember going to a game and it was rainy out. And of course, I didn't have a vehicle, so I ended up walking to the game. They played I think it was at Dartmouth. And anyway, he broke off an 89-yard run, and they called it back. The very next play, he did the same damn thing again, ran it back again. I think that's a true testament of how good he was. He ended up going to Maine Central Institute, where he was MVP. He then went to Laney College in Oakland, where he was MVP. And then he went to Temple University, where he injured his knee. But if he didn't injure his knee, I don't know where he went. He might have been in the NFL. But he was that great of a running back.
Humble, yes, he was. Very humble. You know, I hated him because Con and I didn't play football. So we were playing basketball. When Nuno came onto the basketball court, he was doing those sprints, gliding. And we were huffing and puffing. And here comes this guy. He was just gliding, man. It was pretty, man, watching him go back and forth. But I would have loved to have seen him run behind Donald or run behind that team that Donald, some of those teams that Donald played with.
You know, too, guys, what I was thinking too is Sonny brought up the point that he wishes that Nuno had gone into the backfield with Donald. That would have been unbelievable. But I think back to, you know, Sonny and I playing at Stang, where, truth be told, we didn't, even though we were close friends, we didn't play together on the court. So we really didn't get a chance to play with each other because he knew how I played. I knew how he played. I think I would have made him a better ball player. He definitely would have made me a better ball player. So we really didn't get to show what we could do as much as we did in the summer leagues. And that's what Sonny was talking about. When we play at the park, we played against the best of the best. And we did our thing. And, you know,
yeah, I did. We might go on that way. We were kind of controlled. Our style of play wasn't always what they were looking for. I was playing in the game against Durfee, and I came down the court and I threw a behind the back pass, and something that I did 100 times at Monty's, and my teammate didn't catch the ball, but the assistant coach stood up and yelled, "What the hell? You think you're at Monty's?" Yeah, that's that. Dwayne, you said it. Ooh,
Yeah,
so wow.
Yeah, we used to get that at New Bedford High sometimes, man. You guys, aunties.
Yeah, that wasn't appropriate. So,
Yeah.
So Mike and I, true story. You know, Mike and I, we go to a game at Holy Family, and at halftime, we get summoned into the locker room. At halftime, and the coach says, "Sonny, you come here, you can shoot the ball anytime you want. Mike, you're going to be on the other side. You're going to go one-on-one anytime you want. And bring Derek Morris with you." And we kind of we kind of thought about it. We actually we did go to Holy Family for the first day of school our senior year. But we ended up going back to Stang thinking if we went to Holy Family, we would have got screwed. We would have been screwed out of playing that our senior year, transferring at that time.
Yeah,
I could have seen that. Y'all, David Lato,
Jimmy Colbert, Dave
Jimmy.
Nightingale, Greg Turner.
yeah.
They had a good team, and we would have been the pieces with them.
Right.
And I think about what if we all went to New Bedford High? Dave Lato and I mean the crew. You know what I mean? A lot of these Boston teams, what they do is they stack their teams with all these great ball players to maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 schools. But if we all had gone to New Bedford High, sometimes I think about it. You know, I think I look back at it. You know, I don't have any regrets. You know, things turned out okay for me, but sometimes I think about it, you know, and I kind of wish that we had gotten the opportunity to play with each other a little bit more, and we showcased our talents at Monkey Park. You know what I mean?
And we were allowed, I think when we were allowed to be ourselves, we played for Paul Gomes, we played for Nuno Gonçalves. And they let us do our thing and, you know, play the game the way that we were best at. Mike could handle the ball far better than I ever did. And Mike, when we played Summer League, he had the ball. Everything went through him. And then when we go to Stang, the ball's not in Mike's hand. Or if it wasn't Mike's hand, you know, Mike started as a sophomore, I came off the bench. I started as a junior, he came off the bench. We both started in the beginning as seniors, and then it was I came off the bench. It was to the point if I didn't hit a shot, then I was sitting down. and Mike and Derek Morris worked with me. Hey, come on, Sonny, just play. But you know, when you have that mindset that if you don't perform, you're gonna get pulled. That's where I was for half of the season until I decided, the hell with it, I'm just gonna enjoy the game. But by that time, half the season was gone. But we didn't have that opportunity for me to run with Mike, because I knew if Mike went to the hole, if he didn't have a layup, he was hitting me for a jump shot. And Mike knew where I wanted the ball. And you know, it didn't work out that way though.
With Dwayne, your toughness must come right from within your house, man. You didn't need anybody else to keep it. So, I don't think your mother I said hi to. Your brother I was scared of. John I was scared of until I was probably 13, 14. And
yeah, he was a Rolling Stone.
They caught me over or something. Yeah. And he's definitely.
Jeffrey,
your brother Tony, I didn't see too much of him.
Yeah, he was that Vietnam guy that, you know, he doing okay now. I mess with him sometime too when he talk crazy. I say that Agent Orange, you know, has got you. You need to take your medication, you know. But it seemed like I was really quiet. Them guys, all these guys knew I was quiet. But for some reason, when I put a helmet on, it seemed like I just turned into somebody else, you know.
Dwayne,
I don't know what it was.
You were just a good athlete. And I don't think you realize how good of an athlete you were in those younger years.
Yeah.
Because on the basketball court, just because of your passion and your athleticism, you were a beast defensively.
Yeah, he was tough, very tough. Oh yeah.
And you didn't want anybody to score, whether it was your guy or somebody else's. You always.
You're right, because I couldn't shoot like y'all. I couldn't shoot like y'all, so you know I had to do the other things, you know, to keep me on the basketball team, you know.
Hold up there.
Don and I went
even
through
the way you feel with all the orange seeds in your head, huh?
Yeah, me and Dono at halftime. This is a story. I mean, I had a good half too. I think I had about 7 points. I really didn't score with Derwin and Eric. They were the scorers. And for some reason, I had a good half. I think I had about 8 or 9 points. And I was paying attention to John Pacheco and his James Lesser and Donald at halftime spitting orange seeds in the back of my little fro. I did all of this. Probably about 10 orange seeds came out of my afro. So then I got a half of orange and whipped it, hit Donald in the back of the head. He was red and orange back here, you know. So I snuck out onto the court, and then I remember him saying, "Dwayne, hit the showers." Me, Donald, and James Lesser, we hit the showers at halftime for the orange fight incident. That's what I believe Don Harrington put in the paper.
Yeah.
You know, we were sitting out in the stands because after that, I really didn't play much because Mark Gruby's father was in John Pacheco's ear. I'll say it right here on your show, Charlie. You know, Mr. Gruby thought I was trash. And I could hear him in the stands because he wanted Mark to play. And I understood it. Dwayne already got his football scholarship. You know, he shouldn't be even playing. So that's when, you know, me and Donald, we had our thing, you know. I was a captain. I was sitting at the end of the bench. Oh, you're going to demote me and, you know, not let me start no more? That's okay.
Well, we started taking basketball serious because of a few things that were going on the team. With here and there, you know, different maybe fathers going to the practice and stuff like that, you know, and in Pacheco's ears. But that homage fight, after that homage fight we had, whenever it hit the newspaper, the worst thing Pacheco could do is put us in clothes and not even put us on the bench, put us in the stands. Because now you got a reporter from the Standard Times wondering what's going on, and here's the story. Now he puts it in the paper like we're disrespectful, we're this, we're that. Pacheco can't handle us guys, and the story got like blown out of proportion in the newspaper with our names on top of that, to the point where we were just the bad boys after that. After that, we were like, it was crazy, Matter of fact, a lot of the times we'd be on the bench. The only time, especially me, I would get in the game is when Pacheco wanted to get physical with a certain player, that was banging them dudes up over there,
Right.
And Dwayne too, it's like, put the football days and let bang these guys, and it was crazy. But yeah, we getting into our senior year, started taking basketball less. I had less interest, you could say, and I think Dwayne did too. But Dwayne still played ball. He still balled out there, so that was great. Eric was balling too. Eric, we roughing up Eric to get him a little tough, because Eric was quick. He was fast. He had a nice shot, but he didn't like the physical stuff. So I could get under Eric's belt by being physical with him. But he started getting there, in his senior year, junior year.
He did.
Eric was solid, man. He had all the tools. He could handle the ball. He was a good passer. He had a quick step, and he could hit the shot. But what people don't realize too was Donald could shoot his butt off too.
Sure could.
Donald could shoot right out.
Hold on. Let me interrupt you guys right quick. Tell Sonny and Dawn, tell them how many points you guys average for Marble Cities. Tell everybody.
Well,
what was your average?
At that time, it was a 20-minute game. I averaged about 18 points a game.
We talked about that.
And Donald could have been the second leading scorer. Our team, we played against a team, and they wanted me to have the record. They wanted me to have to be the leading scorer. So at halftime, they told me to stay at half court and for Donald to pass the ball to me. So Donald being Donald, he threw me a couple of passes. And then he was like, "The hell with this, man. I'm scoring myself."
I just caught the end of that story because I got bumped off for a minute, but I already know what you're talking about.
Talking about when you were throwing me the ball, when I stayed at half court, Bobby and Larry, they wanted me to have the record. And Donald, he threw me a couple of passes. Then he's like, "Nah, the hell with this. I'm not doing this stuff."
Sonny had the record. I didn't catch the beginning of the story. He already had the record, and then this kid Cathcart broke his record. So they wanted him to get the record back. So it was me get the rebound to Sonny's basket hanging. So I don't know if I repeat the story or not. But yeah, I couldn't do that after a while.
But yeah, we were the first and third leading scorers from that team. We were big kids, bigger than everybody.
First and third in the league.
In the league. And when we went to Normandy, every time we went to Normandy, because we used to play at Roosevelt, Heath, and Normandy, there was some guy that used to come into the locker room and try to recruit me and Donald for baseball. That, hey, I'll pick you guys up. I'll get you a glove. I'll get you a bat. He'd never seen us on the baseball field. We had to tell Larry, "Hey, can you tell this guy not to bother us? Because we weren't interested."
Me and Sonny was saying, "Here comes that guy. Here he comes. We'll try to skate, take off."
So our first year, we went up against this Cape Verdean veterans team with a bunch of freaking tall monsters on that team. And they smoked us. They blew us out. So the next year we tried to recruit one of those guys. But he wanted to move on and go to Our Lady of Assumption and play the CYO game. That was Michael Kahn. He jumped up and went CYO ball, left us hanging. So we ended up losing to we lost the championship to a good team, the Fairhaven Boys Club. And those guys they end up, I think they won a state championship. So we're talking when we're 11, 12 years old. Those guys played straight through to 18 years old together, pretty much the same team. Well, yeah, we tried to get Kahn to play with us. We thought we would have had a big guy because Kahn was huge, you know, a pretty tall guy at that time. Mike Grant was on our team, and Mike was extremely fast. So fast that he used to forget to put the ball down. He had a rebound and travel. Come on, Mike, you got to put it down. All right, okay. But again, Mike was a couple of years young. You know, when you're at that age, 2 years is a huge difference. But Model Cities, what a great organization, man. We had bags, we had uniforms, we had sneakers. They just took care of us, man.
Yeah, that was Ben Rose. Ben Rose. Kids.
Yeah, we lost.
I know Dwayne.
To them. We lost. Boys Club, me, David, and Eric lost to Sonny and Donald. Sonny was putting up hooks, Charlie, from like the free throw line back there. His hook was always going in. Donald had the hook shot.
So Dave locked me up that one of those games. He locked me up. He held me to 6 points in the first half. I ended up with 26 on Dave. But as we got older, I got a picture of going to the hoop against Dave, and I'm finger rolling, and Dave's got his hand back, and he pinned my shit.
Dave, I'll tell you, Dave started off, I think, me, him, and Sonny in the vets. He always had like an inch over us. Because me and Sonny were tall at that age. And we stopped growing. Like ninth grade, we just stopped growing. But Dave Lato had about an inch on us. And then he just took off, man. It was just like,
yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, when he came back from California, I think it was about 6'8" when he came back from California.
Yeah, the guy was, you know, he's my first cousin, man, and he just like took off on me, man. I stayed short, and he just grew, man. He just kept growing.
And Charlie, he's one of the Steel Brothers, also. That's why I'm representing him. So I got to represent him, you know. But yeah, he's one of the Steel Brothers, also. And what's good about it too?
I don't know if I ever. Hold on, Mike. I don't know if I ever told you guys about Ken Fiola telling me that that Dave Lip busted his nose with an elbow, and he says I'll never forget that because he was in so much pain, and then when Ken's telling me about it, he's touching his nose and everything. So I don't know what happened the whole game, but apparently, you know, Dave gave him a shot and just playing ball and broke his nose. So.
Yeah, and what's good again about the Steel Brothers is the fact that, you know, Dave right now is the head coach of the University of DePaul, and you know, whenever he comes down this way, we try to make it a point for all of us to get together. Charlie, you know, you was with us. We try to get together and go, you know, give him some support when he comes locally, and you know, that's a sign of the Steel Brothers. You know what I mean? So it's also great. The fact that, you know, I wanted to acknowledge all the Steel Brothers. I give them, you know, a nice little bracelet, you know, showing my affection and love for the Steel Brothers and my close friends. And it's something that I wanted to do, and because how much I do appreciate them and so proud of all the Steel Brothers and what they've accomplished. And one thing I will say is that they're all doing great. They're all doing great. But when we get together, we all the same. You know what I mean? We talk stuff. I can't say what I want to say, but we talk stuff. We do what we do. and it's a great thing.
Hey, excuse me, did we lose Dwayne?
Yeah, we did lose Dwayne.
Yeah,
Tough out in Texas, man.
I got 2 screens.
Yeah.
Hey, Sonny, what I'd like you to do, because you got a better memory than me, I want you to tell these guys about the Buttonwood Park championship game.
Against New Bedford?
Hold on 1 second.
Yes.
You gotta
bring that
part,
up.
what did you say?
Oh, no, I was talking about Dwayne. I'm looking at me and I got 2 screens there, and Dwayne's not in there.
No, we lost him.
We lost him?
Yeah, we lost.
Must be them Texas.
Yeah, it's bad up there, man.
Well,
crazy.
I hope he's all right. That's all that's my main concern. Hopefully him and his family all right.
Dwayne, man, Dwayne's so tough. You would survive a tornado, man. You find some way.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Mike was talking about Summer League Championship. That was summer of '77. And we were playing against New Bedford High, coached by my brother-in-law, Ray Houtman. It was Brian Hauser, Tony, Derwin, Gus Hodge, Mike Sharon. And our team was me, Mike Kahn. I think Roy was on that team, Derek Morris. And who was our 5th guy, Mike?
I don't remember. That's why I asked, because you have a better memory than me. I get dementia, you know me.
So we, and we were coached by my other brother-in-law, Nuno Gonçalves and Paul Gomes. So game 1, Gus Hodge saw Derek downtown, and he told Derek something like, "We're going to play you guys today. We're going to play you tomorrow. We're going home with the hardware, 2-0. So it rained, and we ended up playing inside the rec center down on Purchase Street. So Derek comes into the locker room and tells us, "Yeah, man, Gus was talking crap, blah, 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 blah." So for whatever reason, I don't know if it was because we were indoors or what, but we had them 42-21 at the half. And we just steamrolled through that game. Game 2, we played outdoors. It was a close game. They got us by 1. We even had a little design to play for me to take a last shot. I missed the shot. They beat us by 1. Game 3, we were back on board and we beat them, and convincingly. But Mike was running the point, and between Mike and I think we averaged like 30 points in that championship series. So me and Mike leave there thinking, hey, we're playing good ball. Now that's just gonna carry over to when we go to high school at high school. But no, it didn't work out that way. But we ended up getting them. One of my brother-in-laws beat my other brother-in-law for the championship. But
it's amazing that the many players in the city at all kinds of different times.
Yeah.
And there was, I could think of each era from yours before you, is that there was never a time that the best of the best came together when it got to the high school for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it never panned out that way. Until this day, it still doesn't pan out that way. And I could never understand it because, when you went to the boys club or you went down to the parks and you seen these kids play and you're saying, wow, you take those 2 kids, you take these 2 kids, another 2 kids, you're going to be all right, and we never had that. However, and if you guys notice that, Fall River, Durfee only had they only had to worry about, maybe someone going to the Catholic school like Bishop Conley or something like that. But
right.
Fall River never had that problem. So their best players were always going to go right through Durfee, and they end up having an outstanding team year after year. So we always had a conflict with, whether it was Volk, whether it was Stang, there was always a triangle. You could go in either direction, but never those guys could never end up meeting up. And that's one of the things that I always looked at, and I always was saying, damn, what if?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if y'all feel the same way.
Oh, definitely. You're right on it, man. It just like you said, and same thing with us. We remember before us, a couple of generations before us. And I mean, I could think of maybe one or two after us because it started thinning out, just like you're talking about, unfortunately. And I don't know if that comes from, being guided within the community. Because like with us growing up, man, we had them, like we were talking about last week, we had them guys on us, man. Them older guys were on us. They make sure, hey, do good in school, go to school, play ball, even though some of them didn't. And they really kind of led us the way, And even before them, you had guys like, of course, as we all know, the heroes in our community, like Manny Costa. Peter Brittle was great. Dave Fonseca was great. But Danny Conceição Sr. was great. I mean, these guys were like, you took us by the hand, man. For instance, a guy like Danny Conceição, man, I mean, I love the guy to death, man. The guy was great. I mean, he would take the time to talk to you. Like for me, he was my hero because he talked to me like during football games, like before the football game, after the football game. Matter of fact, he's one of the guys that told me how to get my blocking technique by not slowing up, just going through the guy. And after that, it was all done. That's what he said. I was going through him. But I'm getting a little off track on the story. We all had like guys that guided us. They were tough on us verbally. They were tough on us physically. They were just great. So I don't know if that got lost, like you're talking about, like along the way as the ages got a little, as we got a little older, like, because I noticed when we were playing college ball, and all the Steele brothers did play college ball, whether it was basketball or football. When we would come home in the summer, it was wow. You could see it changing some. I mean, you had some of the younger guys still pulling out, down the park. Donald Lesser and Trey and Victor. Wow. So anyway, you had quite a few guys there in that group that were really balling and doing well. So yeah, I don't know if it was the leaders within our community kind of started slacking. Things started changing. I don't know. Because of the things that were going on in our community in our park. Because when we were growing up, as you know, it was all fun. It was all family. It was great. You could sleep on that wall, no problem.
And too, Donald, and guys, what I was thinking about too was we were knuckleheads back in the day. We were and there were people in our lives that looked out for us. Bobby Grace, Russell Montero, Paul Gomes, guys of that nature that looked out for us. You know what I mean? And as I got older, I realized what importance they played in shaping us, because these guys had to go work 9 to 5 and then go down and deal with those knuckleheads. You know what I mean? And it took time from their day and their families to look out for us. And I do appreciate. I think that's what got me started. Recognizing people because of what people were doing for me and for the Steele brothers and for a lot of people in New Bedford. And I think we've been blessed to have those mentors, because I don't really know if there's that many of people like them nowadays. You know what I mean? And it's I just feel that we all been blessed, and I think that we try to pay it forward in the things that we do now. Yeah. And I think that's important.
And I got to share one that's kind of a different. It's a mentor, but it wasn't through the sports life. Petey Cabral, everybody thinks about him as this funny guy, a clown, because he's great to watch. He's a showmanship. but he lived 2 houses away from me, and I grew up with 10 sisters. So he was my big brother, and he did things to me that nobody on this earth could get away with. And he beat me up. He did a lot of things. And there was one particular day that I had it. I had enough, man, that I freaking lost it. And I was trying to kill him, and he was excited. He said, "That's what I've been waiting for." He was just trying to toughen me up because I was in a household with all women. And those are the people that we don't always recognize. We forget how big of a role they play in your life, but you take a little bit of them with you along the way. And Mike had mentioned Bobby Grace, your uncle. I played Model Cities for Bobby, and the fundamentals of the game was taught to me back then. And a lot of times we'd get on the court with guys that were a couple of years older than us, and they didn't have the fundamentals because they didn't have Bobby Grace or Russell Montero teaching them at a young age, so that I could box out one of those big guys and get a rebound, where had they had Bobby around or somebody else like Bobby around, they may have been that much better. And those guys, that we played against, the older guys, they were talented, didn't know how talented.
Man, that is great. I mean, you got Kenny Francis, you got Jeffrey Martin, Stevie Gomes. I mean, you can name the names and the players. I remember when I was growing up watching Edmund Gomes and all the players that were and some of the guys I played with, Mickey Gonzalez. These guys were like great, man. We had great people to look up to. You know what I mean? And
that's the best shooter I've ever seen.
Like you were saying, Con, it was a blessing, because everything and everyone in your life is either a blessing or a lesson. We had blessings and we had a lot of lessons.
Yes.
So, and Sonny said the same thing with certain people in our lives. They pumped us up to be who we are, and still say, we're still friends and we're all connected. And it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing.
Sonny, how'd you keep the Steele brothers away from your sisters, man?
Hey, it's kind of like this, man. Either you're my friend or you're theirs. It couldn't be in between. But my friends, these guys have became brothers to my sisters. I don't know how it was blessed, but they became brothers to my sisters, and now my sisters just get more brothers. I had a lot of friends, I'll tell you that much. But the guys that my sisters dated, I met those individuals through my sisters. But my friends pretty much didn't. We didn't mess with each other's sisters.
No, that was a rule, Charlie.
We didn't mess with each other's sisters.
Corn's sister was older, so but Sonny.
Hey, watch out! Hey.
Me and Sonny go back to 2 years old, and never messed with the sisters because they were like sisters to me. It was a second family, But yeah, it was. We had rules being Steele brothers too.
Yeah.
We would put ourselves on probation and double secret probation.
Oh yeah.
We had a crazy we had rules. We had rules when we were kids and everything, man. Even back to the days when we were giving parties, man, at all these halls for the kids. We had break dancers and everything. We all took different positions and had, we stopped charging the girls to come in the party, so more boys would come in the party. We had Trey Lewis and Hector Barrows, Scott Ross, David Consatio, all them guys. They were the Ice Crew. And so yeah, they man, every time we gave a party, we had them come in and a few other break crews from different areas of the city. And I mean, it was something else. It was something else. Great days, man.
But they had one rule.
I remember we had the teak room. You guys were in the teak room at the band club.
Yeah. We had a shirt and tie and everything. The only thing I got mad about is they didn't let me sing. So, but other than that, I mean, it went well. I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
Still won't let you.
Matter of fact, even so much, not just sisters within our Steel Brothers. We had a thing even with the girls in the neighborhood. Like you don't see that with kids, of course, now today, even after us, because we used to go to these parties or even give the parties, and after the parties, we called them out homegirls. They would walk in front, we would walk in the back, and we all walk. We all lived in the same neighborhood. So yeah, it was something else, man. It was
Sorry,
like
we'll get him back.
Community, you know.
We're in there. We're good.
Did I get off?
You're back.
You're good now, Donald. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying how we used to walk. We called them our homegirls from the parties and all that, so it wasn't just leave our sisters alone, within our group, but it was even some of our homegirls, because we were practically all family anyway, whether we were going to parties South End or West End, or so be it. But we all looked after not only each other, but we looked after even some of the girls in our community too, which you don't see nowadays. It's a lot different.
Yeah, it's kind of a free fall, but you all had good sisters, and that's just a task in itself. My sister was actually in Worcester most of the time, so she didn't have to deal with us other than her brothers out there, and they kind of. But if she was in New Bedford, she might have had a hard time. She wouldn't have been able to have been pregnant for a long time. She would have been in a nunnery somewhere.
Well, my sister Charlie, as soon as I went to college, she got pregnant. Nobody was.
Oh man.
Yeah, I had to go to West Virginia for somebody to get on her to get pregnant, for her to get pregnant.
Yeah. So
but that's a whole story.
When Michael Grant was talking about Boston College and Doug Flutie and that was fascinating for me, and I'm pretty sure you all have some stories. I heard Mike's stories and all the people that he met. Through the game of basketball or football, who was that one particular person that was a highlight for you, other than people in the neighborhood? Maybe someone, a ball player, it could be anybody, pro ball player, but who's that one? What was that one moment that you particularly remember?
Are you talking within our Steel Brothers group or outside of it, or
just maybe outside of that? As far as like someone may be fascinated with seeing, Coach Lato, he's coach at DePaul and so on. So who is that one person that kind of, that one moment you had maybe, with a football player or basketball player?
I could share something with Dave. I think it's important to share this one with Dave Lato. Peter Brittle was involved with Our Lady of Assumption with the basketball teams, and they were putting together 5th and 6th grade teams. And he asked me to coach. So I coached them for a few years, and trying to be that mentor to some of these kids, because things changed so much, Charlie, from when I was a kid. Like the village was a safe ground for us. Things were changing a little bit, and some of these kids were starting to get in trouble. So to make a long story short, I was coaching Our Lady of Assumption, and Dave was coaching at Northeastern, and we were putting together our banquet. And what we wanted to do, Mike Lisbon was coaching with me, Bobby Gomes, God bless his soul, he was coaching as well, and we were putting together speakers for our banquet. And we wanted to show the kids from Our Lady of Assumption where some of the other kids are. And those kids being Dave Lato, we wanted somebody from the community. Dave was coaching at Northeastern. We got Kathy Houtman. She was coaching at UMass Dartmouth. And we got Ryan Grace, who he was a student in college, but we wanted these kids to see where people in their seats were and where they are now. And when I called Dave, mentioned, hey, we're having a banquet, Dave, and want you to come and speak. When and where, Sonny? And that in itself, right there, when and where. It wasn't like let me find out, let me figure this out. When and where. And he came and he talked to our kids, and again, it wasn't just about sports. It was about you can be whatever you want to be. Here's a little guy from the neighborhood who's coaching Division I basketball. Here's a woman from the neighborhood who's coaching college basketball. And here's a kid from the neighborhood who's getting his college degree. So those are the things that were important for me. And then on the basketball level, Mike Kahn and I went to Framingham State. I stayed there just for 1 year. Mickey Gonzalez, the best shooter I've ever seen on the floor. Mikey and I can tell you, we seen him light it up. But then there was this other guy, Tony Lake. And Tony was about 6'3". He could palm a ball off a dribble, could cup it and dunk. And we brought Tony out here to play ball with us, and he just did some crazy, stupid Dr. J stuff. But those were the basketball players that I thought. And every time I tell Mickey, he was the best shooter I've seen. You know, he's humble and he's like, "Come on, man." No, and Mike can tell you, Mickey just shot lights out.
When you talk about Mickey, and Dave and Kathy, I mean those are class acts. With me and Mickey, it was I seen him and I was always in awe with him. And one day he come to the CYO and I was playing, and my dad was there. It's probably one of the first games my dad ever went to. But it was an honoring moment. It was a special moment for me because Mickey Gonzalez was sitting with my dad talking to him, and I happened to be in the game. My minutes were always taken up by guys like David Consaccio and all them. Consaccios, they just ruled the roster, man, So anyways, Mickey was that guy for me for a very, very long time. And it's nice to hear that, you feel the same way.
Great guy.
Yeah, great. Mickey was, he's still a great man. But the guys that stand out was in basketball, football, was track, and that was Keithy Francis. And actually, Kenny Francis, nobody knows this about Kenny. He was also a good runner. Kenny used to run us around the city, man. When we used to come home from college, get us in shape. He used to say, "You're running. He used to tell us, right? We're running. Hey, you guys are running with me." And but Keithy was one of them wild guys too, growing up. Because him being an All-American at Boston College and going on to do some big things within the Division I track and field. Also, Keithy also became a guidance counselor when we were in high school. So Keithy was a big inspiration for me also, as far as sports goes.
Yeah, Keithy was, I always wanted to write a book about him, and he got diagnosed with the cancer, and so I could never get that verbal okay to do that, and to me, it was Keithy was next door. That's where his mom lived, right next door to us in the Bay Village. So I would always have the privilege of seeing him and Kenny. They were just icons to me. I mean, I always had my Uncle Bobby, my Uncle David. I wanted to play sports only because they were playing. It was always a basketball. There was always a T-shirt hanging on the front line with them playing for some basketball team and so on and so forth. And, and I really, I played for my Uncle David and JoJo Mendes, and that was a good thing for me. But I that experience at the CYO with, Bobby Grace and Russell Montero. That's the experience I wanted because I was seeing those teams that were playing there. I was never going to the high school games because, the CYO was closer to home. So that's where I wanted to be. Now, Mike, can you share a story with us as far as?
Man, I would be here till midnight. There's so many. Like I said, I've been blessed. I think I'm going to have to go probably with Mickey Gonzalez as well, because as a high school senior, I didn't get a lot of offers to go play Division I, Division II, and I really didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do. And Mickey had just transferred from Boston State to Framingham State. And I remember reading an article about Mickey hitting 21 out of 23 shots. I think I already told you the story, Charlie, anyway. But I remember that. And then he had asked me if I wanted to go to Framingham State. And soon after, Sonny and Tony DePina and David Houtman and Brian Hauser, we all went up there, you know what I mean? And I think by Mickey giving me a little structure as to what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, I think played a big major role in me going to Framingham State. So I gotta put Mickey up there. And then there's one story, I know I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. And this is a true story. Sonny and I, we sat the bench the first year, a lot. And matter of fact, we sat next to each other and made jokes all game because we didn't get no playing time. But anyway, it was against Worcester State, if I'm correct. And Mickey, if I'm lying, I don't know. Sonny might, can verify it. I think he hit 22 out of 24 shots, and his behind was in my face because me and Sonny was sitting on the bench, and his behind was right in our faces, and there was no 3-point line. And Sonny may be saying I might be exaggerating. That's all I recall. So I read it in the paper. I read it, and then I actually saw it, which is phenomenal. So I'm gonna have to go with Mickey Gonzalez as far as that, because without him, who knows where I would have ended up. So I give a great deal of, and I tell him this all the time anyway. Matter of fact, he's getting recognized. He's going into the Hall of Fame this year, which I'll be there. But I think about Mickey Gonzalez, and as far as pro athletes, I mean, there's so many of them. You can go. I can start. The first one was JoJo White. Matter of fact, the first one was Lou Hudson that came to Bumwood Park. Then you go JoJo White. Then you can go. Sonny and I got to play against Nate Archibald at United Front. You can go there. Then of course the Dr. J stuff, and playing against Pat Ewing. I mean, there's so many. So I can go on and on. But as far as the most impact would probably be Mickey Gonzalez.
Good. What we're gonna do, fellas, we're gonna wrap this up, but I want you guys individually. I'm always trying to get a guest here or there. So who would you want to see on this podcast? And I'm gonna try to get them on this show based on your recommendation. So we'll start with Sonny, then go to Mike, then Donna.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Wow. How about getting one of the things we kind of forget about our elders, and then we regret not doing things with them while we have that opportunity.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that I think you should get on. One being Pete Brittle.
Yep.
And the other one would be his former partner. His partner is Butch Silver from the Vets.
Okay.
Those Pete is Pete. We all know what Pete's done, but Butch has been doing so much to hold down the Cape Verdean Vets, a place that we all benefited from.
Yeah. So I'm going to reach out to both of them and try to set up something so I can do that. What about you, Mike?
I've spoken to you already. I was saying maybe Robbie Mendes and Marcus Hellman.
Yeah,
those are Marcus is doing so many things. Like again, as Dwayne was talking about, and Donald and Sonny about, the stuff he's doing with the Cape Verde Islands, along with Eric Brito. And I think that he would be a great guest. And I'm proud of what he's doing. And I think he'd be a tremendous guest along with Robbie Mendes. We all know about Robbie. So those would be my two.
Well, I love Robbie, and Marcus, I did reach out to him. So we're trying to do some scheduling and get that done. So that will happen. I appreciate it. What about you, Donald?
I was thinking about this while these guys were talking. Unfortunately, as I'm thinking, my big timers and my heroes, I would call them heroes, unfortunately passed away. So of course they can't speak on it. But I would go a little lower. I would go with some of the younger fellas, because what brings my attention, I don't know why it's still in my head, as we were doing parties back in the days, with some of the guys in the Ice Crew, because not only some of the guys in the Ice Crew, but some of them also became famous with Mark Wahlberg, with Marky Mark and the Funky Boys, and that's Scott Ross and Hector Barrows. And as far as the Ice Crew, you got Donald Leslie, you got David Sasho, Curtis Cruz. Wow, some of them guys I think would be interesting, because that was a good era, like the era below us. Because like I said, the era ahead of us, these guys brought up some really good guys and good people to talk to. But some of the guys below us, I would call out them guys because, matter of fact, some of them did reach out to me about the broadcast last week and were inspired and really enjoyed the show. So yeah, I think it would be a good show for some of them guys to speak on behalf of their times with break dancing and everything else.
That's what I was going to lead to, because just a few weeks ago, maybe about 4 weeks ago, David Kahn and myself, I talked about, doing a podcast with the Ice Crew and having them on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
see, I didn't even know that. I just kind of picked that up.
Hey, great minds think alike.
Well, I ran into David Consasio at Toys Wake, and him and Hector were there, and when I left there, of course, I'm sad about Toy passing away. But I think I started thinking about them guys with our broadcast, that we didn't even mention them, because that was some good times. Us giving them parties and guys dancing in the parties, because it was, if you was there, you could never forget. There's something you can't forget, So I'm glad you talked to them already. I didn't know that. Great.
So, but I appreciate you guys. There's nothing but love here. No hate whatsoever. I'm glad that I was able to watch you guys throughout the years, and now I have a good friendship with you guys. My boy Michael Grant, hopefully he's feeling better. Eric Brito, I hope y'all doing well, and Dwayne, I hope everything's safe in Texas. But I just want to let you guys know firsthand that I love you guys, and keep things up and keep the good work up. If you need me, call me, Sonny. All the stuff that you're doing, feel free.
Let me just say a little bit about what I'm doing, Charlie, because I think people in our community, some of them are not aware of what I do. I after retiring from corrections, I've been working in the drug and alcohol treatment field, and there's a lot of us that are struggling, and a lot of us don't know where to go, who to call. I'm not going to call Sonny because he's going to talk about my stuff. The last thing that I do is put somebody's information out there.
Absolutely.
It doesn't cost a penny to give me a call. I'm even going to throw out my number, if I may.
Yeah.
You can reach me at 508-808-3049. If you're struggling with drugs or alcohol, or if you have somebody that is struggling with drugs and alcohol. I'll do my best to help you get through that process. And the biggest thing that I can say about that is it's confidential. Still Brothers can tell you, I was one of the best drinkers, and it's been just almost 30 years since I've had a drink, and life has been good for me. It's been great for me, and I can still be the stupid guy to have the fun guy, and I'm one of the best designated drivers you could have.
Sonny, let's repeat that number one more time. I'm going to put it in the comment section.
508.
Yep.
808 3049.
Sonny, that's some good stuff, man.
Call
Yeah,
anytime.
You helped
Too many of us.
Me and my friends quite a few times already, and I highly recommend Sonny to anybody out there that's struggling. And you're definitely going to be speaking to someone that's very caring, and he's definitely going to get you in the right place where you need to be. So
thank you. Thank you.
Mike, I know I'll hear from you soon.
Unfortunately.
I love you, bro.
Charlie.
I love you, Charlie. Hey,
Bye.
Charlie, thank you. Thank you, Charlie, for everything you're doing. Again, I can't say it enough. I mean, your show's well reviewed, well received, and a lot of people look forward to seeing your shows. Only thing I ask is one of these shows I'm going to have to sing. I'm going to have to sing.
Ratings
Other than that, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Secret probation for that, Con.
I saw him singing at the bomb shelter one time, and then he was looking for help because he couldn't remember the words.
Hey. Love you guys, man.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Still.
God bless, man. Take care.
God bless you, man. Love you guys.
Thank you, everyone. We went over our time, but that's all good, When you have people like the crew we had tonight, it's definitely well worth it. And I'm glad that everyone is listening and viewing these podcasts, especially in these times where we have to give people their flowers while they're standing. And I'm all about that. I'm all about an education, an inspirational story. And these guys have done it for me for decades. And I'm glad I was able to view, everything that they have done, the good, bad, everything, because following these guys' footsteps is where I want to do and where I want to go, because I have no hesitation in following the lead of anyone that's on this screen tonight, because that's what it's about. It's about a community that we lived in, and we try to raise each other, always be there for each other. And that particular name, Steel Brothers, just speaks for itself. There ain't no more solid group that I know, or they're one of the most solid groups that I know. And it's been going on for decades. So if you can kind of emulate these guys with your friendships, please do. It will last 50 years plus. So mask those beautiful faces, hand sanitize your hands and wash them. Stay safe. COVID is still around. I love you guys. And God bless.